There was tremendous depth to his comedy. The thing that people have to understand, Robert, is that uh, Paul Mooney, just like Dick Gregory. In fact, I'm going to play the video later where I interviewed both of them in New Orleans. They read a lot, they studied, and so these, they weren't just tossing stuff out. I mean, when you say truth bombs, I mean they were dropping bombs in that comedy.
Yes. No, no, no. You know what's funny is that I think what we really love the most about Paul was that there was a lot of thought behind his comedy. I mean, so Paul wrote for Richard. Richard had a childlike way about him when he did his jokes, and so he would do his political stuff, but he kind of disarmed you. And Paul but Paul had he didn't put any sugar on it. Paul just come in and say, "This is how I feel. This is what it is."
If you had to say who put sugar on grits, salt or salt on grits, no, he would put strychnine on grits. He would put rat poison on grits. That's right. He ain't put that right. Everybody else, let me soft shoe it. No, no, no. He would come in with like a bazooka. Oh, soft shoe? No.
No, Paul came hard. I mean, I think that's why we all loved him. I mean, like when the first time I was doing Hollywood Shuffle, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, would you be in Hollywood Shuffle?" And he played the president of the NAACP. And then when I did Partners in Crime, my first special, I said, "Hey, I want you to close out the show." Now, the funny thing was that some people didn't know who Paul was back then, and so I went from Franklin Ajayi to Tommy Davidson. I forgot the whole group, and then Paul closed the
I think
show.
wasn't Curry wasn't Curry on there? I thought I got
Not, not,
I got the video at home, so I got the DVD at home.
oh, you know what it was? Don Reed. It was Don Reed,
Okay.
Franklin Ajayi, and then I think, but Paul Mooney closed the show, and it was so edgy that everybody was like, "Oh!" But I wanted it to be a real variety show. And when Paul came with it, he just came with real knowledge and hard hitting comedy. And I think the whole room. But I think after that, I just know that it was a whole different time because that was one of the first specials on HBO. But no, but Paul, that's what I loved about him: his edge, his edge, his edge, his edge.
Damon Williams, was there ever a time when even you watched Paul and went, damn, that hurt?
Uh, Not so much because see, we as comedians, we love to see people push the envelope and go further than we thought about going because we might have all had the same thoughts or something similar, but for somebody to actually say it makes us, it gives our hearts joy.
Alicia Cooper, you are actually open for Paul Mooney.
And it was a wonderful experience when you're up and coming and you're watching legends like Paul. Because before I even realized I wanted to do comedy, I would just go and watch comics. So I flew to LA in the mid 90s, and Paul was working a late spot in the Comedy Store in the original room. It was either between 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. And I'm just sitting in the room watching this genius at work. And I'm laughing so hard. I've never laughed that hard before or since listening to Paul Mooney because, as they said, he had white people just walking out. And every time they walked out, he'd comment on it and make fun of it. And, he had that beautiful smile and that beautiful voice. And he was like the Paul Robeson of comedy, just a brilliant, handsome man. And I can still remember the jokes he was telling. He was like, all these white celebrities, all of them, the new thing is to have a little black crack baby. Every one of them got to have a little black crack baby. Michelle Pfeiffer got a little black crack baby. So he's naming all these people. And he said, so I did exactly the opposite. I went and got me a little white heroin addict. He said he's out there in the car right now, just nodding. I was laughing so hard. Somehow I ended up on my feet. I don't know how I got on my feet. I must have levitated. I was laughing so hard that night. That's the power that Paul Mooney had. You never forget his jokes because they're so brilliant. I remember the joke he told about white people, they can get off with any kind of defense. They can just say they have multiple personalities. And they're like, I don't remember killing this man because I have multiple personalities. He said, let a black person try that. Yeah, I killed him because I got multiple personalities. They're like, well, you better pick one of them personalities because one of them niggas is going to jail.
In fact, all of them niggas is going to jail.
Robert, he on that particular point, and I wish CNN would post it. I actually was on CNN with Paul Mooney, being interviewed by Kira Phillips. This was after Michael Richards melted down on stage with his N-word rant, and we had this discussion about the N-word. And Paul was unrepentant. Paul, what was his joke? Saying the N-word made his teeth white. I mean, he
once a day.
Nigga. Hey, it makes my teeth white.
Yeah, I mean, he just did. He did not care. I mean, all of y'all know. So, was there anything? Did y'all ever hear Paul say, "Yeah, that's going a little too far"?
No.
I think Paul would always walk up to the line and then go across the line. And because
he would hopscotch.
So
he would do a Chicago two-step over the line.
No, I mean the thing. I wrote today on a post. I said he was fearless, but it goes beyond fearless because there was nothing that he would not say. If something came into his mind, he would say it. If something happened in the news, like what's happening in D.C. right now, he would be on stage tonight really talking about it and no filter. Right.
Yeah.
George, final comment.
Which is not easy to do. You know, you got to understand the times. You know, it wasn't easy then, and sure the fuck is not easy now. But he was the type of comedian that cared so much about that craft and cared so much about the importance of what he was saying that you can't water that down. You got to tell that uncut. You got to tell the truth. And you know, Rob, fearless is a word that's going to be continually used because it's really what the man was. You know, when it came to saying whatever it was in an attempt to make you laugh. And so much of that uncomfortable, hysterical shit was true. But who's courageous enough to say it? Even a comedian, they say we get to say whatever we want to say. Well, you know, there's many comedians whose ass been canceled that would disagree with that. Paul never gave a shit about that.
Yeah.
And that rubbed off on a lot of comedians, and I believe it helped us to become, I know it certainly helped me to become a better comedian.
Robert Townsend, your final comment.
Let me just say this. I pray and hope that his memory inspires a whole nother generation of artists to find their voice and be their true, authentic self, because that's what he was.
George, your final comment.
I believe, knowing Paul Mooney and having graced conversations with him, you get to know a different level of his genius and of his level of compassion and his level of not give a fuckness. But to watch him and to know that he was responsible not for only his comedy, but the comedy of so many other greats, lets you know just how unfunny of a day today is.
Indeed. George Wilborn, Robert Townsend, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Damon, Alicia, y'all stay right there. Let me pull in right now.
Okay.
Y'all stay right there. Let me pull in Bill Bellamy and Michael Collier. Glad to have you here. It has been an extremely it's been a tough day for a lot of cats in the comedic world. I've been texting with people, talking with people. They've been sharing stories, but look, and it's rare to listen to comedians talk about being sorrowful. Folk are used to making folks laugh. Bill, when I texted you this morning to give you the news, as soon as after I heard it, you just responded how much this cat was a true OG.
Yeah. I mean, can you hear me? Can
Yeah,
you hear
we
me,
got you,
Roland?
Bill. We got you.
All right, what's up? So shout out to my boy Michael Collier as well. But I mean, Paul Mooney meant everything to me because when I first got in the game, the first time I ever met Paul Mooney was in New Jersey, and I had this club. It was called the Peppermint Lounge back then, and I was just a newbie, and I went up to Mr. Mooney and I was like, Mr. Mooney, I've heard so many great things about you, and I was just wondering if there's any advice you would give me. And I'll never forget what he told me. He said, "What's your name?" Bellamy. Let me tell you something. If you don't live it, you don't eat it, you don't drink it. And if you're not bleeding it, get the fuck out of it. Just like that. That was like, I thought he was gonna give me some like nice and beautiful, and it'd be hummingbirds chirping and stuff. He gave me such a raw idea of what it is to follow your dream, right? And so with that in mind, it made me want to be a comedian even more. Like I figured I quit my job. All the stuff that I had that was safe in my life, I got rid of all of that because of Paul Mooney, because he gave me the blueprint. It has to be your life. Like it has to be the thing that you can't live without. You got to marry it. You have to be true to the craft. And he whether he was famous or not, whether the Hollywood game accepted his brilliance like Black people had, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But no one can say he was untrue to who he was.
Collier, your thoughts.
How come I can't see anybody?
Don't worry about it, man. Just talk, damn it. We ain't trying to.
Man, I want to see y'all, man.
Well, guess
Okay.
what? Watch this shit on the replay. You'll see everybody.
Okay, beautiful. First of all, hello, Bill Bellamy. Hello, family. Hey, man, first of all, Paul Mooney was my friend, and that's what I miss most of all. He was a real dude, you know. I got my first money because of Paul Mooney. I went to replace Robin Harris. He used to do a gig in Cleveland once a month with some dude named Kenny Adams. Kenny still owe me money for that shit. Anyway, they flew me down on regular coach. Kenny picked me up in his car. The car was dirty, had a chewed up apple in the back, some drawers and shit. And I stayed at a room in his house, okay? Paul Mooney showed up first class. He was in a limo. When he got ready to eat, they stopped everything and took us to dinner. We got on that stage and we both killed it. And he said, brother, the problem is they don't take you serious because you don't charge them enough. You need to charge them 3 times what you would normally get. Now, you're going to get half as many people, but you're going to get twice the money, and you're going to be all right. I changed all my money then. I love Paul. He used to call me on Monday. I'd have a Monday night show. He said, oh, nigga, is it nigger night tonight, nigga? I say, yes, we're doing black night. Well, I'm bringing Eddie Murphy, nigga, and you're going to owe me twice. So I saw him one day talk about Tom Cruise, because he was talking about white folks always trying to play other ethnicities. Tom Cruise is the last samurai nigga, please. They should do my story. The last nigga, and let Tom Hanks play me. The dude was brilliant. He never bit his tongue, brother. He said it. He gave it to you straight with no chaser, man. And
Hey, Michael, hold on one second.
yeah.
Buddy Lewis, my ass is live on the air. I text you, said we gonna call you, damn it, so wait. Michael Collier telling a great story. Bill Bellamy telling a great story. Alicia Cooper and Damon Wayans, and you interrupting us.
Well, I got it.
My buddy, we calling you right back. See, that's what happened when you got Omegas from Howard University who don't know how to behave. Go ahead, Mike.
I just have to say what I thought was the ending was pretty amazing. He told me last night that Rudy, his brother Rudy, told me last night that Paul asked him to make him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
So he went to make the sandwich, but when he came back, Paul had transcended. So he tried to bring him back himself. He couldn't do it. So they sent the medics, right? So they had all these medics. All of them was white. And he said the whole time they kept saying, man, we got to bring him back, man. This is Paul Mooney. We got to bring him back. And I just thought that was so ironic and beautiful that white cats was putting all their heart into bringing this brother back who made his living making fun of them fools, man. I just thought it was beautiful and poetic, you know?
Absolutely. Bill, go ahead. You, Bill, I'm going to Bill, Damon, and then Alicia.
I know since we're all comics, we all have had a moment where we wish that there was something that he said that we could have said, but we weren't bold enough to say it. So one of my jokes that I loved about Paul Mooney, and it was so raw, but it was so funny. But so I'm at Caroline's, and Paul used to always do the late show in New York. So I would do like the 8 to 7:30 and the 10, and he would do the midnight show.
Midnight.
So he'd sit there, you know how you sit back like this, right? He said, "Oh, my favorite movie is Titanic. I love Titanic. It is the outstanding film. It's absolutely wonderful. And let me tell you, a lot of white people died in that movie." He said, "I tell you, every time." He said, "I watch it every time just to count one more white person that drowned. One more." And I mean, what would make you say something? I'm sitting there watching white folks leave Caroline's. They walk away like this. Oh, God. I am not here to be telling me that I am going to drown. You know, he walked out half the room. Like, and he said to look at him. Oh, look at them. Look at him. Look at him. Run, 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 white people, run, run, run.
Because see, David, he didn't care because he already got their ticket money.
But I didn't understand how he would do this every night, run out 70 people.
David, go ahead.
And that's the funny part because he didn't care. Yeah, that's the crazy part because he did not care. I mean, that was his goal, it would seem. And it just goes to show you the irony that Michael just said that the paramedics, like, we got to save this one. We got to save him, which shows you that they don't care about all black people when they come to help him. Another thing I want to say is Bill Bellamy, man, we got to hang out more because if I, God forbid, pass anytime soon, I want you to tell my story because you tell the best stories at funerals and such. You killed it at Witherspoon's funeral. I'm telling you, people, hang out with Bill if you're feeling sick because he's going to tell the best story about you ever told.
Oh, my God, bro. But I have so many true stories, you know. And the only reason that I have been able to just come up with these stories is because I've been working on my book. And so all these memories start popping back in my head of moments that I had with you know, all my fellow comedians, with different artists and this, that, and the other. And this thing about Paul Mooney, I wanted to say to you guys, and I want to give a special shout out to Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle gave Paul Mooney a platform, and it was the biggest thing in his career to me. And I want to thank Dave, however that happened, where he got his flowers and he was finally able to be the star and be able to get his flowers for his talent. That Dave Chappelle show provided the platform for him because to me, he was always one of the most super rated to the Black community, superstar, but underrated to Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Alicia Cooper, your final comment before I let two of y'all go before I bring in my next round because we've got folk booked who all want to come on and share their thoughts about the Paul Mooney.
Yeah, it's just sad to know that he's gone because his voice is still such a needed, necessary voice. And I always say Paul walked so that we could run. This man was just, I mean, I just can hear bits of his just over and over. I think about the one where he said to white people, you guys have a nerve to be racist, but don't shake your family tree because a nigga might fall out. I mean, he just has so many hilarious lines and so many great jokes and was just a brilliant, brilliant person. I just, you know, it's just hard to believe that he's gone. And, you know, he left the comedy game really a couple years ago as he started dealing with dementia. And all I kept thinking was Donald Trump dodged a bullet. because we lost a whole lot of good Donald Trump material coming out of Paul Mooney's mouth. That man was so powerful, he did not care who he offended. He didn't care. He would take on titans of industry. You could lose out on opportunities because of your proximity to Mr. Mooney. This man was a powerhouse, and we lost something big. We lost something big today.
Absolutely, Alicia Cooper. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna do three of you. Michael Collier, your final comment. Then Bill.
Man, I've been
then
sitting
Damon.
here 45 minutes. You talking about a final comment? I just got here.
Well, Michael. Michael. The problem is, I got Buddy Lewis lined up. I've got Guy Torrey lined up. Ricky Hughes
Buddy
lined
Lewis
up.
already talked. I'm tired of Buddy.
I've got, and then I'm literally.